Finally, oh my God, finally got it. Jeez, wow. So we are live. I am so sorry about that. Let me re-sign in over here. I was trying to figure it out exactly how to get this thing to log in, and it was a nightmare. Now, let me just double check, but it says we're finally live. And can you guys hear me? And I'll even post in the chat box, but can you hear me? My door knocking addicts, what is happening? Can you guys hear me? Just please, if you can shout out a quick yes, that would be awesome. Or no, of course, if you can't hear me. But I guess if you're gonna say no, you can't. Can you guys hear me? By the way, yes. Oh, JT, I love you. Thank you so much. Dear God, what a struggle that was. Stick to door-to-door sales, folks. Don't do online stuff. It'll drive you mentally insane. So it really will. I hate fighting this stuff, even though I got my team. It's the weekend. But I'll tell you, you always got to get in there. So as you know with me, let me see now. I'm going to share my desktop. I have 3 screens, so if it looks like I'm not looking into the camera at times, it's because they say I have to do that, so it doesn't do. And now you guys can see my actual screen, which is awesome. And I'm going to share. Let me go in over here. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to share the screen and we're going to get started. So can you guys see, and just to double check as I can kind of get a glance here, you see my screen where it says increased customer engagement right now, my presentation? Can everybody see that? Oh, let me know. I have to go present to everyone. So there's always these little things. There we go. I think now you can. You are sharing and presenting to everyone. Okay. Yes, you can. I love you all. Thank you so much for sticking in with me. And even though it was a little difficult at first to get started, I did a test run. And of course, when you do test runs, it's never the same as live. But as you know, I am going to present to you guys the most exciting webinar you've ever been on. Yes, you can see it. Perfect. The most exciting webinar you've ever been on. Why? Because that's what I love to do. I love to excite people. I love to get people engaged. And more importantly, we're talking about closing more sales, selling door to door. So let me open my presentation and open it up here so you guys have a full screen view, and welcome you. Now, what you're going to get out of this webinar, see, first of all, if you don't already know me, I'm all about excitement, motivation, but getting people to take action. Now, number one, in this webinar, you're going to learn how to move your prospects from the dreaded not interested, which I know you get, which I got smashed and crushed every single day on, but taking them from that to very much interested. I'm also going to show you the 3 crucial methods to counterattack the top 3 reasons why prospects will most likely tell you, you know what, man, I'm just not interested. Slam, close the door. And for the most part, it's not slamming the door, as we know, it's closing the door. Okay, and how to turn them around. Now, the most important thing I need you to realize is you need an action plan. Folks, you need an action plan to turn this around. I was not this person who started off really strong in door-to-door sales. I actually, which I'll get into the details, wanted to quit, but I turned it all around. And as such, I knew it was in me to want to teach this once I actually learned and mastered it. So how to increase customer engagement, we're going to talk about that because that's what's important. If your customers aren't listening to you, you're not getting anywhere. And then the proper mindset. It's all about the freaking mindset. Once you have that mindset, ba-bam. And as you know, a powerful presentation by such a motivational person. I hope I am. Now, here's a little bit about me. I am happily married with 2 kids. Ladies on here, I mean, hey, okay, well, let's get off that. But I'm happy married with 2 kids, and I have a 5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. And they're my family is the biggest blessing to me in the world. You know, they've really helped me through times of me wanting to accomplish and achieve my goals, to stick in and really help motivate me personally in my life. And I know a lot of you out there have family as well. You may have kids and you want to, you know, provide for them. Believe me, I know exactly what you're going through. And door-to-door sales got me to that level of my wife and I sleeping on an air mattress at first with no kids, nothing to our name, but actually moving into, you know, our own 4,000 square foot house at the age of 24. I'll tell you, it was a struggle at first, but as such, whatever is a struggle that you really want to master, you have to push through, figure it out, and get that success that you want. So I graduated from business, and my major was marketing. And when I heard I was going to be doing door-to-door sales, well, when I thought I heard I was going to do door-to-door sales, I was like, really? Yeah, probably not. then anyways, my friend who actually got me a job where, see, I was working at a corporate job at Northgate Industries, and that's local in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I was working at Northgate Industries, making about 32,000 bucks a year. Super excited that I got a job straight out of college. And then I was like, you know what? This is my life. I'm going to eventually move up the corporate ladder. I'm going to end up making a lot more money and everything's going to be great. Lo and behold, to find out, unfortunately, after my first year, my raise was only 1,500 bucks. My boss goes to me. He's like, hey, Paul, congratulations. Come on in. We actually want to give you the full raise that, we give because you're fast, you're on time, people love you, you're social, yada, yada, yada. And I said, that's awesome. If you don't mind me asking, how much? And he goes, 1,500 bucks. My heart dropped, but then I also went, wait a second, 1,500 bucks every what? Every week, every month, he's like, oh, no, it's every year, of course. And I'll tell you, my heart dropped again. So it dropped twice. When I knew that, I went back to my buddy and I said, look, I have to find something else that works. So he actually was doing energy sales at the time. So I'm very familiar with natural gas, electricity contracts. And when I actually did that, I wasn't the best to start. I did okay, but it was me eventually the first about 3 months, 4 months, me and another friend who were actually doing pretty decent, where we ended up becoming the top salespeople. And then all of a sudden we found out, well, he had found out about this alarm company, which everybody knows as Vivint today, which started off with the original Apex. I'm not saying the APX, it was the APEX, the first original company. And we were probably the third year of them being in business. This was quite some time ago, 11 plus years ago. And he was telling me that he was actually going to go start selling for them. And to me, I'm like, what do you mean start selling for? Why? We're the top people. We're doing great here at the energy selling natural gas. He's like, because you actually put this, like, it's so much more simple. It's so much more fun. You make so much more money. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is this? Like, hold on. He's like, yeah. And at the time he got sold in on the job, and he goes, I don't know if they're still hiring. I can let you talk to the manager. But we place a sign in people's yards and we give them free security, where to me, I'm like, dude, can I actually get an interview with this guy? I did. Lo and behold, switched and transitioned in. And I did horrible to start with alarm sales, just so you know. Alarm and home automation, well, at the time it was only alarms. I did horrible at it at the beginning, but then I really pushed through and actually mastered it. Okay. And I also did some Comcast sales. So I was even in California doing that. So in the really ritzy neighborhoods, a lot of the actors and actresses, I was knocking on their doors as well, which was wonderful. And I did very well. And even a friend of mine who never did sales at all, that was my first like wanting to train, because it was my best friend who I actually wanted to knock with and get him to become a salesperson. He was more of an introvert. And what I found was, when I took him actually on the doors and started training and teaching him, he was actually doing pretty good at something where he never believed he can actually, accomplish or do. And then to me, I was like, wow, this is actually something that, I want to do more of once I actually get. I love training. I love teaching. The high you get out of taking somebody from, I don't quite know how to do this, but I really want to. And then seeing that turnaround story is unfreaking real to me personally. And that's one thing I love. So then I switched to over to Arizona, because all these programs kind of finish and end in summer programs. And I heard about this year-round program. So when I heard about this year-round program, there was an owner out of Arizona who basically, and my assistant manager who was over at Apex said, Paul, I actually have a position out in Arizona for you. Do you want to come and actually grow it and build sales manuals and all these crazy things with this company? This guy wants to grow, and he's really wealthy. Would you want to actually grow with him? And I, lo and behold, met with the guy, flew me out to Arizona, sat down at dinner, and it was just the most unreal experience in my life. I seen this guy driving this brand new 750 BMW Li, decked out with rims, Pirelli rims. And I looked at him when we went out and after we had the meeting, and I go, you know what, Daryl, I want that car that you have, and I'm going to do whatever it takes that's ethical to get there. And I promise you, I will have it. Lo and behold, after a year with him, it was a year and a bit, I ended up purchasing that exact car. And then on top of it, I was able to grow a sales force. And after about 2 years of doing it, at the age of about 24, I had my own 4,000 square foot house and the BMW, the life of my dreams, because I pushed through. I had the right opportunity and I mastered this. This is what I want to teach you. If you can already feel the energy that's running through my veins, I want to bring that to you. So I'm the founder, as you know, of Door to Door Mastery, and that's where it all came. So as time progressed, I then eventually went into owning my own security company. And when I owned my own security dealership, I then eventually had to obviously build a software for my company because there was none out there. But also, I actually uploaded, and this is where people, my competition was like, Paul, you're the dumbest person that I know. You're the smartest dumb person I know. All my friends in the industry. And I said, why? They go, do you realize you're uploading training videos? You're uploading training videos of your company so your competition can watch it. And what I replied to them is, if you actually love what you do and you don't care, guess what will come out of it? Ladies and gentlemen, to date, we now have over 10,000 subscribers to the Door to Door Mastery all over the world. People who listen and tune in to the podcast, to the YouTube channel, and so much more. And thanks to you, I'm so grateful and honored that you guys and gals who comment with me, send me emails on a day-to-day basis, give me that drive, give me that determination to really help me do what I absolutely freaking love to do. And I opened up my own company, the software in the industry, which, by the way, we're integrated now with the largest security companies in the security monitoring stations in the world. That has taken off. And my development team has just been unreal at getting stuff done. And that's called PhilQuick. So I own that company, and that's why a lot of the door-to-door mastery stuff, you'll see PhilQuick and whatnot. I own that, and it's been unreal to just remember my first door. Okay, remember my first door, and knowing that I had no clue where I was going to end up, but I wanted to actually succeed at this because I knew it would give me the income that I deserve. And if it gave me the income that I deserved, that I personally believed I deserved, that I would be able to shed the light upon others, but also be that light and that pathway so I can show other people. Now, my favorite movie is Dumb and Dumber, and I love the Edmonton Oilers as of hockey. I'm like a crazy fan because I'm all into it. Now, why did I spend a bunch of time telling you a little bit about me? Because I hope somewhere within that line, there's been a little spark within you that goes, if this clown can do it, because honestly, on my life, I am not a smart person. I am not somebody who's different than anybody else. I struggled at first. I went through everything that everybody goes through. The only thing that's different between me and my competitors or people who are out, and about just doing it, is I'm so determined to, no matter what, never give up. I push through. Why? Because once you have that breakthrough moment, you eventually learn from that and you move forward and you become such a more powerful person. And you learn this stuff. So, okay, I wish I can bottle the energy. Thanks, Bonnie. I just want to make sure you guys are still seeing this. And let's get into some of the training now. So it's very important I tell you why, because again, if what I'm going to teach you right now is something you're just going to listen to and not implement on a day-to-day basis, it's not going to work for you. It's not, no matter what you learn. If you take what I'm about to teach you, okay, and you actually implement it in your day-to-day life, in your door knocking every single day, it's like a muscle. It's going to get better. So here's an overview of not interested and converting them from not interested to interested. So this is a little overview. I need you to understand why they are telling you this. If you have no clue why your prospects are telling you not interested, you're going to continue to wonder why it's just not working. More than likely, you're going to start to take it personally. And I don't mean like get so butthurt, but you're gonna feel that emotional pain. You're gonna say, what in God's earth and why do I keep getting this? You know what? I'm not cut out for this. You're gonna believe that you can overcome this. You must believe that you can overcome this. And just so you know, this energy that I have and this drive, it actually affected me on the doors. I would talk really quick and I had to learn to calm it down. Okay, I need to engage and lock with you guys within this hour that I have to get you excited and deliver the most powerful message that you've ever had in the door-to-door sales realm. Now, I want you to understand that you're going to have to shift your thoughts. When you get rejected, how do you react? How do you react to that rejection? Okay, I'm going to teach you some secret tips and tools, some tricks, that you can utilize internally within you, okay, to actually shift the way you feel and when you react to actually getting rejected, and use that as positive energy moving forward. Be open to the thought that the problem is your presentation, okay? I need you to be open. You see that underline I did? Be open. Be open to that. that the problem is in your presentation. Believe me, it's not about the product. It's not about the service. It's not about what you're, it's about your presentation. Okay. I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to correct that. Now, learn to agree with them after all. Why in God's earth would they be interested in what you have to offer? You have to give them a reason. For you guys out there who are going and hitting on girls to try and get their phone number, you need to give that girl a reason as to why she wants to do business with you to actually give you that number. Giving you that number is business. And for girls, hey, you have it easier, I say, but hey, we're looking right now at a time where I think I'm seeing a little bit of a shift here. You girls are also allowing us guys, hitting on the guys. So anyways, aside from that, are you acting like a pushover? When you knock on that door and you stand there, do they look at you and say, you know what, I can easily get rid of this person? I am not here to say you got to be a pest at the doors. I'm here to teach you how to ethically sell, but also to know that what you're doing is something that is unreal. You are a true entrepreneur. And by the way, Tony Robbins, Mark Cuban, all the most highest paid entrepreneurs that I know all started off, if you watch their videos, because I hawked them like a hound, and found out that they all said at one point, they started off doing door-to-door sales. As a matter of fact, the owner of Fubu, from Shark Tank, I watch it all the time. He basically, I tweeted to him once, and because he put a hashtag door to door, and you could probably find it on Twitter. But anyways, he did that, and I was like, oh, I made a little comment like, oh my God, door to door. He said he just got off a plane, and he sold one of his belts door to door, and I was like, that's awesome, but why did you quit at one? You should have went and pushed da 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 da. You could have. I said something. He actually private messages me, and he goes, Paul, being that it wasn't even in my interest to go to actual, not in my interest, being that I just got off a plane and I didn't even know I was going to do that, pretty impressive to go out and knock on doors and get da-da-da. And I was like, oh my God, he actually responded. That's freaking awesome. Okay. So it's super cool to understand and note that you can talk. We're in a time where you could talk to people right now who, you look up to and get the knowledge and information that you need to actually take yourself to that success, to where you want to become. So where and how do you stand? Very important. Very important. Did they confirm that you are a typical salesperson? If they did, you're going to get that not interested. Did they confirm? Knock, knock, knock. You start talking. Did they confirm? Okay, I'm going to get into that. You need to change what isn't working. Most people go on just pumping themselves up, getting excited to go out and work another day, which is great, which is one of the things you need to do, but it's not everything. If something's not working for you, you're going to have to try and implement some change, okay? And I shouldn't say try. You're going to implement some change into your routine, or you're going to get the exact same result, okay? Always remember, you haven't lost what you do not have. Oh, this one is an amazing one. There's been so many times where I got in, and you should be nodding your head if you've been doing this for at least a couple months. You get into the house, you're signing the paperwork, and basically the customer goes, you know what, actually, and they start backing out, and they think of all the reasons, and you're spending time trying to save it. And then you get all butthurt because you didn't get the sale. You were halfway in, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to get another deal, and I got so close, and I don't get this far typically. And you end up getting butthurt because you lost something. You feel like you've lost something when you didn't. You didn't have the sale. It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't, installed, or however your product goes to that customer's property. Okay. You do not have it. You haven't lost what you do not have. Why? I'm going to talk about mindset. It shouldn't destroy your day. And as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, even 3 days ago, we had a follow-up with one of our fans here at the Door to Door Mastery Show. And he basically went through this, and he actually got a sale, took a picture of, of the customer's property and everything, that he actually secured it. He was doing security. And he said, this actually worked. And I talked to him the day before, and he was struggling. So it's wonderful to note that, these teachings work if you implement them. Okay. And you got to implement them on a day-to-day basis, but like a muscle, you need to work it. Okay. You need to work it. Don't be afraid to fail at the doors. Do not be afraid to fail. These things will definitely increase engagement already just by understanding this. We're going to get into more. So let's understand not interested. When you get not interested, you knock on the door and somebody says not interested. Remember, we talked about, you need to understand why they're telling you this. People do not want to be bothered. Ladies and gentlemen, people do not want to be bothered. Understand that. We do not want to be bothered. That does not mean you cannot get a sale. That does not mean you can overcome it. I'm just teaching you why, first of all, you're getting this. They think that you're just this person at the other side of the door that's just going to be that's going to take time, money, yada, yada. I don't want to deal with it. They've dealt with other creepy salespeople. I'm going to say that because some of you people, I'll tell you, when you knock on doors, you guys act creepy. Like I've knocked with thousands of door knockers. I'm like, dude, why are you knocking on the door like 1 inch away from their door? They open it up and you're like, hey, how's it going? This is me and I'm so, and they like the way they talk and they got ripped jeans on and, cut from, I'm like, dude, why would they be interested? Okay, of course they're not going to want to be bothered. I'm going to tell you all the things you can do to actually increase your odds and chances of getting a sale and getting your closing ratio down, whether you're 1 in 100 doors, 1 in 50, down to 1 in 25, 1 in 10, all the way down to where I got 1 in 3. And on my life, on my kids' life, I had at one point a full room that I was doing a training session with. One of my corporate clients actually hired me to do this. And I went in for 1 month straight and actually knocked with every single person in an office of about 150 sales reps. And I said I was going to go with 2 or 3 people every single day and show them exactly how to close sales. And at the end of the month, I was going to come back in that room, have everybody stand up one by one, write down on the paper how many doors it took for me to get a sale, selling what you have to freaking offer. And out of that room, everybody stood up. Hey, Brad, how many doors did it take me to get a sale? 1. How many doors did it take me to sell? 3. How many doors did it take? 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, 6, 1, 3, 2. Bottom line was my ratio when I started off was 1 in 50, 1 in 100, all the way down to under 1 in 10. And, really I could say peaking at the 1 in 3 consistently. How did I do that? It's no magic, although it felt like it was from the beginning. I understand the process. And one thing about me is I absolutely freaking love to teach it. That's where this energy comes from. Okay? It's where the energy comes from. So when you sound like a salesperson, again, they're not going to be interested. They don't want to talk to salespeople. When you look like a salesperson, because salespeople, a lot of times, I know some people who go out with a briefcase, suit and tie to the doors. Hey, they may get a couple sales. I'm teaching you how to present like a professional that goes out there in a summer program or in a year-round program and closes 40 to 50 to 60 accounts every single freaking month over and over again. Remember, they're scared of dealing with a stranger. It's true. How scared is a different story. I'm not saying like, oh my God, I'm frightful, although some are, but when you open that door, they are scared. They're a little bit scared. So you need to understand this. I need you to get inside, understand why you're getting what you're getting so we can present the solution. Now, they sense all you want to do is make freaking money out of them. Okay? They sense that. People sense that. It's like this guy on the other side of the door just wants to make money out of me. So this is going to get into mind shift, and I'm going to need you to shift your mind. I can get into the details of even more and more in all this, which I'll explain later on, but they don't have a clue of what your products and services really are, what it does, what it means to them. Ultimately, this is where we got to buy time so we can build it up. Think about it. And knock on a door, and basically they answer they answer the door. They look at you, and they're like, not interested. You could have a check for $1 million, and as a matter of fact, I've even proven time and time again with sales reps that when you're talking, they're not quite listening. They do not have interest in what you have to offer because you haven't gave them a reason why. You haven't given them a reason why yet. Okay? They don't trust you yet. There are certain things you can do to buy time. Okay? And they don't like you, but they also may not hate you, which gives us that reason, the majority of people, to actually get in and start digging and start bringing your presentation to life. And that's exactly what I focus on when I train and educate and teach, okay, door-to-door salespeople. They're scared to decide because they don't want to be wrong, right? Some of us have made many bad decisions in our life, which it's okay. Life, that's what we do. We make decisions, we go with it, we stick to it, and if it's wrong, if we had made the wrong decision, that's okay. But some people get scarred and scared that if I were to do business with this person on the other side of the door, unfortunately, what is it going to ultimately mean? I may have made a mistake. I may have gotten myself into something that I don't want to do. I didn't do enough due diligence or research. Door-to-door salespeople and top door-to-door salespeople, average door-to-door salespeople, and top door-to-door salespeople do two things completely different. I started at the bottom, I climbed my way to an average, and then I moved my way to the top because I studied the process. And when I studied the process, I presented the solution, and hence I actually got the answer and the result I wanted. Don't take it personally. It's just how the majority of people are programmed. How many times have you knocked on a door, or somebody has knocked or rang your doorbell and you're like, who is that? I wonder, can I? All this curiosity goes through your mind. You know where they say you got to create curiosity, which I'm going to talk about? They are already curious when you ring or knock the doorbell. It may not be in a good way, could be in a good or bad way. Is it my brother? Is it my sister? Is it my mom? Is it my who? What? Question, curious. Okay? Remember, I'm going to talk about one of the most important ingredients is creating curiosity. Guess what? Door-to-door sales, when we knock on the door or ring the doorbell, you freaking got curiosity off the bat. What is the problem? You, me, we destroy that curiosity because they know exactly who you are and what you're doing right away off the bat. And that's where I'm going to take you to shift you. And once you do, and I hope I'm bringing this life to you, so I shake you off your patterns of thinking that I'm going out there every single day and I'm not getting these deals. I understand why you are, but I need to shake you off so you can start realizing if you were to just focus on what I'm about to teach you and what I'm teaching you, you will see a change. I'm super confident with it. Stop beating yourself up. It only affects what you do at the next door. So you take it personally. Dang it, I've been knocking for the last 5 minutes, the last 10 minutes, the last 20 minutes, and the last hour, the last 2 hours, and you're like, oh my God, I've been getting rejected. So now you start doing less at the following door. Okay, it starts leading up to that bullshit belief that it's just not for you. It really is not for me. You know what? I'm freaking sick of this. I could be spending my time elsewhere. I could be doing this. I should have started that, and I coulda, woulda, woulda. And you know what? You end up, eventually doing what you should do, what you believe you should do. So you start to change everything about your pitch. You start going, that's not working. Let me try this. And I'm just going to do this and that and start. It's fine to change things up to figure out what works. But on the other part, when you're just changing stuff up because you're depressed because you're not getting sales, it doesn't work, okay? You need to change up everything. You don't need to change up everything about your pitch. You need to change a couple of things to tweak so that you can start building and seeing that turnaround story. The excitement diminishes, and when that does, it leads to failure. It leads to failure. And this is where my manlyhood's going to go down, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with every single person and tell you, I've cried a couple times in my life. One time I cried was when my parents got divorced at a really young age. And I was like, this is the most sad thing in the world. And the second time I cried, pretty much, that I can remember of at least, was when I was out on the doors and I was actually selling, and my second to third month, I wasn't the top salesperson, and I really wanted to freaking master this dang thing. I wanted it more than ever. I wanted to literally make 6 figures this year because what I initially wanted to do was to take 6 figures, take over $100,000, reinvest it into products that I can import and resell and double my money and then keep doubling and doubling. I wanted to be in the import-export business. That's what my whole goal was. And when I was coming short of it, or I felt like I wasn't getting there, I felt like, one of those ladders you're trying to climb and it keeps slipping down. And I found out, I was like, dude, this is not like all this time, all this energy, all this effort. I started focusing on that, and I literally cried in a field, and I called my manager. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm throwing in the towel. And I'm a person who doesn't quit at anything. I think I'm throwing in the towel. I really, this is just, it's beating me up too hard. I have to accept failure, but this is just not for me. It's not. I'm going to give up and quit. And I'll tell you, the one thing he told me that, again, re-enlightened and woke me up was this. Paul, are there people in your office right now, in our office, that are doing better than you? And I said, of course there are, and that's what's killing me. He goes, okay, so you definitely have a lot of emotion attached to that. And let me ask you this. Is there a special light shining upon that person? In these words I'm giving you general, is there a special light shining upon this person that, when he knocks on a door, people go, Lord! Yeah, absolutely. This is the person who I'm supposed to do business with because everybody says yes to them. I'm like, well, probably. He's like, no, come on, think about it. People don't know this person got 5 sales in the last. What are they doing that you're not? And then I was silent there. I'm like, what do you mean, what are they doing that I'm not? He's like, what are they doing that you're not doing? And I'm like, I have no idea. He goes, might that be a sign that you need to learn off of the top people because they've already created a path? Might that be a sign? And then to me, I was like, holy cow, as crazy as it was, I was so caught in you're right, I do have to learn. So I actually went with them and found out a couple things. Number one, Their passion to succeed was equal to mine. They wanted to succeed as bad as I wanted to. They wanted the money. They had different reasons for them. I found out they wanted to travel, change the world. Me, I wanted to invest. That was my main reason. I wanted to be an investor. But we both had the same reasons as we wanted the money. But what they were doing that I wasn't was less. Hear me out. They were doing less work, sounding less like a salesperson, talking slower, and they were getting a better result than me. What they were doing, see, I was the person who was so loud and rowdy and talking so quick that I had to friggin' counteract that to go calm myself down and actually say, hey, you're the owner of the property here, right? Okay. See, people don't want to do business with these loud and rowdy, crazy people to start, or sounding like a salesperson. I had a pitch. Hey, my name is Paul and I'm with this company. And meanwhile, they were knocking on the door, just talking to people. Hey, how's it going? You own the property? Okay, cool. Just really quick, this is what we're doing out here. And it's important because I'm very busy. I'm sure you are. And I'm like, he's working way less. He's making way more. I'm talking coming home with 5, 6 accounts, 7 accounts. So a couple weeks later, folks, I went from having no alarm sales, well, no consistent alarm sales every single day, to literally closing 10 alarm accounts in one day. 10 alarm accounts in one day. And of that, my last install was at 11:30, honestly, even at midnight. It was a summer program that I was doing, and it was actually at midnight. I still recall the lady. I wanted that 10 so bad. Now, why do I tell you this? It's something you need to tweak in order to get that exact same result. Okay, shrug it off. Stop taking it personally. So how do you react to not interested? Do you beat yourself up? Do you take it personally? Does your belief go down about getting a sale? Do you get pissed off and frustrated? Do you take your time walking to that next door? Do you go and take a break, which I know almost 80 to 90% of the people do? I've done in the past, but how disciplined are you if you go and take a break? And when do you take your break? Do you take a break after you get a deal? Do you actually use that? Hey, I'm tired, I'm dead, I'm starving, I'm thirsty. Do you say, you know what? I don't deserve a break until I actually get a deal. Then I'll go take a break. What do you do with that? Do you jump on your phone and start texting, messaging, or looking at this crazy guy called Paul Shakuri with Door-to-Door Mastery on YouTube? Do you do that? If it's motivation, if it's drive, do it. But if it's not, don't do it. Don't touch the phone. And if it is, listen to it for 5, 10, 30 seconds, a minute, and boom, bam, get yourself to that next door. Do what you have to do to discipline yourself and push. My top salespeople at my company, and by the way, through all my corporate clients right now, all I noticed either have a military background. I'll just leave it at that. Have a military background, the majority of them, because they're disciplined. It doesn't take magic to sell door to door. Do you blame the neighborhood? I know you've done this. This is a garbage neighborhood. This is somebody just knocked it. I've knocked behind people who literally just finished. My team who knocked literally about 5 to 10 minutes ago and said this neighborhood sucks, let's leave, to prove to them that I can actually get sales right behind them and clean up to people they talk to. The homeowner answers the door. No, one of your guys were just by here. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I'm here. And what exactly was he offering? And I took a recording. I took another person with me so that he can tell the story. And he goes, I don't quite know. I'm actually very busy, or was actually very busy. They weren't listening to him. Why do you think he got rejected, not interested? They had no clue what he's offering. So does that mean I can actually offer and present to him what I have to offer if I knew how to? Absolutely. It's a brand new sale. Every neighborhood, there are accounts. Eliminate your mindset. Get rid of that crap. Start becoming a top producer. Think like one. And as you implement this, you're going to start. Stop blaming the product and services you sell. Do not start to, do you start to think of all the reasons why this is happening to you? Because if you do, ultimately, that's what's going to destroy you. Okay, don't be a pushover. When they sense that they can easily get rid of you, they will. When they sense that Brad, Brenda, Tom, Steve, Bonnie, I know you're on this. If they sense that you're a pushover, they will. Okay, don't be a pushover. How do you get that? You build confidence. Go to the gym in the morning. Have clean, healthy protein shakes and whatnot. Do what you can to feel great. Motivate, pump yourself up. Stand strong. Okay. When you stand strong and, hey, you the owner of the property, I'm not interested, man. Go get a real job, by the way. That's really rude. I mean, get the F. You know what? See ya. Not even. Boom. Walk forward. Who cares? Don't be a pushover. Oh, I'm sorry. I bought. Okay. Oh, well, or even when you get rejected, hey, you're going through. No, man, thank you so much. We're just not interested. All right. See ya. Don't say, oh, thank you so much for rejecting me, Mr. Prospect. Don't do that. Stop beating yourself up. You can thank them for their time, but don't thank them for rejecting you. Hey, yeah, no worries, man. If it went further in and they really looked into your product and service and they weren't interested, that's the only time I'll say thank you so much and thank you for your time. But if somebody says, no, just not interested. Okay, in what? I don't care, whatever you're selling. Okay, well, thank you so much. Never. Never, never. What it does to you mentally is it pounds you to the pavement. It brings you down. You start feeling like crap and you don't become stronger at the next door. No one wants to buy from people who aren't confident. Confidence builds over time, but can also be turned around instantly. Keep your goals in mind. Your goals, your goals, your goals. I have a whole workshop on this where we talk about goals, and learn how to handle your rejections. I have another workshop where I actually train and teach and educate. For those of you who have your own corporate company, as I've already done. And by the way, last week I was actually in one of my corporate clients' offices, and salespeople turn stuff around, like literally within going out there and taking implementing some of my teachings that I taught even in this webinar, and already going to taking themselves from maybe one in every other day sales to actually getting 3 accounts in a day. Unfreaking real. It's just unreal how it switches up. But the problem is that person needs to continue that consistency. And I even train and teach about that. Now, know that it's a numbers game to start until you increase your closing ratio. So when you start off, it's going to be a numbers game. It's going to be, I got to talk to as many people as I possibly can to get the sale. Why? In that time period, you're increasing what I call your frequencies. You're increasing your frequencies of the majority of people you talk to. More people you talk to, the more experience level you get. And when you get to a higher experience level, you don't need to talk to as many people to close a deal. What's the problem? Typically, door-to-door sales reps get their ratio down to 1 in 10. And then what do? They only talk to 10 people in a day. They get 1 sale. They go home. What did I do? Take myself from 1 in 50, 1 in 100, down to 1 in 50, down to 1 in 25, down to 1 in 10. Still talk to 50 people. Wonder why I came home with 5 sales a day? Okay, it's when you get your ratio down eventually over time, because you've actually started off with the numbers game. You start learning from what's working, what's not. You start building confidence and so much more. The past door has absolutely nothing to do with what in God's earth that next person is going to tell you. You knock on door number 1. Hey, how's it going? Nah, get off my property. Don't want it. Okay, you go and talk to door number 2. Hey, how's it going? Oh, wait a second. Door number 2 is going to tell me, hey, by the way, I know door number 1 and, door number 8 million, whatever you've knocked on in your career, rejected you. I'm not interested either, buddy. They're not going to tell you that. They have no idea. Stop mentally beating yourself subconsciously that the past door has something to do with the next door, with the neighborhood. BS. Trust me. You need to eliminate these things. Once you eliminate this, and I hope, and hope is a 4-letter word, I really want to deliver and drive the message to you that yes, indeed, if you start changing and turning around and implementing these teachings, you will actually start to see a difference. But you need to have an awakening. It's really difficult to wake up the subconscious mind. But part of what I do and a lot of the stuff and how I teach is to interrupt your thought patterns of what you're currently doing and start randomly implementing these things, so you can eventually end up transferring the energy and emotion internally out to the doors with your potential customers, so you can learn how to properly deal with people and then become a better communicator. Because a lot of people, what they do is they're not the best of communicators. Okay, when you learn to master this, you start seeing results. Don't be rude with your prospects. Never in a million years. I did it one time and it was the most dumbest thing I ever did. And he's like, go get a real job. I'm like, here I am making a 6-figure income, a high. I was making over $300,000 a year doing this. And he was living in a smaller house and, a broken down car. And he tells me, go get a real job. And I'm driving a 7 Series. I'm living in a brand new 4,000 square foot house, decked out. To me, this was the dumbest thing. And I'm not saying this as a prideful thing. And I was actually training a brand new rep who ran all of the gyms, LA Fitness. He was the general manager. I worked so hard on getting this guy to come and work for this company. And finally I got him. And this is the first door I knock on. He tells me to go get a real job. So I was like, I had something to prove. It was the dumbest thing I ever did. Went and pulled up my car, pulled up my like $8,000 check for the week. The guy got pissed, came out. He, what to get the F? It was the dumbest thing I did. So that's a part of my podcast. So, and I told the story on the podcast a couple times on iTunes, by the way, but I went in and that's where you see the introductions. Like, by the way, go get a real effing job. That's the story, just so you know. But anyway, that's for another time. So learn to it. Now, how do you turn them around? Okay. you need to get their attention. And once you start getting their attention, because you're not a pushover, and they're going to start being focused on listening to you. They're going to start listening to you. And once they listen to you, you have to create curiosity. You have to sell that sizzle. Most people jump into the steak right away. They say, okay, this is my product, this is my service, this is what I do, here you go, here's the product. And then all of a sudden, not interested. You killed all the curiosity. You gave me everything. You told me. For you guys out there who are trying to pick up girls, this is me. Want to come home with me? You know, you start going through too quick. How many times have you tried to get a girl or the opposite sex number and then only to get rejected because you took it too quick? Or the girl says, hey, not on the first date, honey. Not on the first date. Why do they tell you that? You have to sell the sizzle. You got to still build up more and more of that emotion, more and more of that connection, and so much more. You need to build that value, okay, in what you have to offer. Eventually, the steak is something that's going to literally whatever you're selling at the doors. You need that product or that service to sell the customer, not you sell the customer. How do you do that? So you know every single feature that your product has to offer. You know how to bring it out. You know how to handle their objections, their rejections, which again, I teach. But once you actually know all that, you bring it out. You're like, by the way, check out this. By the way, when this is this, this does that. And if this were to, imagine that were to happen. Now, by the way, can you see yourself benefiting from that doing this? And then all of a sudden they're like, dude, absolutely. Okay, well, you know, the product will eventually sell them, not you. You have to do a powerful presentation. I know so many people, because if they don't see the value in what you have to offer, but I know so many people, sales reps that I train, I'm like, okay, let me stand back, and I see they come in the door, we go inside, and the presentation's like, man, we do this and we do that. Or pest control, they'll go out there and they'll say, yeah, we spray for these bugs and these bugs and these bugs. I'm like, wait a second. Why did you lose that account? Why did you lose that sale? Why did you not, get that sale? Why did you not get that sale? And they're like, I don't know, they just weren't interested. I'm like, no. You did not do a powerful presentation. What about what are the most dangerous bugs? This, and this. Okay, so what if I were to get bit from this bug? What would happen? Oh, well, I mean, if you can actually have this, and some people say, I have no idea. Well, you should be digging. You should be doing your research, because once you understand and this goes back to make sure you're selling the right thing, because if you're selling the right thing, you're going to dig deep into your products and services. And once you know, you're like, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I understand you're not interested. You're not busy. And you actually move forward, which I'll talk about in the next slides. You always agree with them. You go, okay, so I totally understand what you're saying. You're not interested in, getting pest control. You're not interested in security. You're not interested in putting solar panels on your roof. I don't blame you. Who'd want to do that? I mean, it's a big headache, hassle, lots of work, and right? Is that the reason why? Yeah, and also, we just don't have and they start talking. Always agree with your customers. This is how you're going to turn them around. You know what? We don't need security. We have a big dog. Oh, what dogs are actually the best form of security, by the way. No way. Tell me a little bit about what dog do you have? I have a half shepherd, half Akita. By the way, his name's Bundy. Here's his picture. Now we're start building a relationship up. Or, you start agreeing with them. We just don't need pest control. Hey, I don't blame you. As a matter of fact, here in Arizona, the majority of people already have it, right? So why would you even need it? I'm assuming you already have it. No, we don't got it. Okay, just so I write down for some feedback, because honestly, I mean, I don't think you'd probably need it if you don't quite, believe you need it. So why would you, right? Doesn't matter what you say, folks. 80 to 90% of your sale, whether it's going to determine you're going to get it or not, is not based on what you say. It's how you present yourself. Okay. You just need to learn the flow, the smooth transition process into buying time. Your goal is to be on their side. When you knock on a door, they sense and feel you're a salesperson. It's you versus customer. But your goal is to be customer with you, not you versus customer. And that's in my trainings. I actually teach about this. It's about being on their side, because think about it. If now I'm talking to my brother, do you think my brother is more open to actually getting what I do on a day-to-day basis if I'm passionate about selling it because I personally have it and I can explain to him and buy time? Of course he is. That's where you need to be. Don't battle your customers. So many of these sales reps get emotional. But I got this, and yeah, but you don't have, yeah, but does your company do that? But I don't do that. You're dying when you're doing that. You're killing the sale. Stop battling your customer. Agree with them, move forward. No matter what they say. you know what? As a matter of fact, I hate your company and I hate your shirt. Hey, I don't blame you. This shirt, to be quite honest, it's the most ugliest green that somebody can say, that somebody can see and look at. But you know what? To be quite honest about this shirt, my wife got it for me and blah, 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 you know, so whatever. Just coming up with agreeing with them, okay? I want you to understand, just agree, agree, agree. I'm not getting into a training about that right now. I got to catch myself. So always agree with them. Now, you're gasping for air and all you need to do is get some. So you're gasping for air and all you need to do is get some. Yes, I'm talking about air, folks. I'm talking about air. You need a little bit of air. You're talking to your potential customers. You feel like it's going sour. There's nothing and you need to grab some air. Guess what? Get it. Collect it, gather yourself, hold your composure, because once you're alive, you now have a chance. Remember we talked about standing strong, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I totally understand. You know, I don't blame you for not wanting the product, but let me ask you this, just one question, because I'm actually very busy. If you were to pick between a spider, a scorpion, and for example, another bug, you come up with it. And which one do you think would be the most dangerous? And you got to come up with these things, which I teach you. You actually have one question that will actually help you ask a question, have them ask a question back to engage. And they're like, scorpion? It is. Now, why? Because they have no, well, hold on a second. Let me actually educate you something really quick here. And now you actually agreed with them. You moved forward. I teach and train these. And once people see these, it's unreal. Okay, when you're live, you actually have a chance. When the whole sale is alive, when you're talking back and forth, your pitch is alive with them, it comes out. You put them on your side. You're then on their side. And then instead of the opposing side where they're pushing you away, that's where it actually comes to. So always agree. Okay, make sure you write that down. Always agree with your potential customer. How can you fight with somebody who agrees with you? Hey, you know what? I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan. Dude, I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan too. Get out of here. What do you mean you're an Edmonton Oilers fan? Go and be a Los Angeles Kings fan. Like, by the way, Los Angeles Kings, Edmonton Oilers, everybody, Milan Lucic, for those of you and my fans in LA, which there's a ton of people from LA listening to this. Lucic came to Edmonton. God bless us. I hated him when he was on every other team, but now that he's on the Oilers, I freaking love this guy. He's rocking it up here, radiating the city, and anyways, so much more. So always agree with them. Top salespeople win trust, time, likability, and so much more with their customers. You got to win your customers' respect. You have to. And I teach you these things. Ease their minds. Make sure that they don't just, when you're talking to them, sense you're a salesperson and just keep on pushing back and forth. Let them feel that they have an out. So important. A lot of people, hey man, I'm just very busy. I got to take the kids to baseball practice. 99% of the time, that's 5 hours later, just so you know. 99% of the time, it's 5 hours later. Oh, no big deal. I actually take my son to hockey practice, and I actually have to get going too, so I don't blame you. Let them feel like they have an out. Oh, thank you so much. Just one question before I go. Lock them back, engage. Because believe me, if they really have to go, dude, the kids are in the car, you start seeing them walking out to the car, different story. But 9 times out of 10, it's 5 hours later. They just want to get rid of you. Understand this. Customers have been adapted how to get rid of salespeople, okay? And I teach you how exactly to overcome those. So buy yourself time, give them the confidence that you're not a pushy salesperson. Don't be a pushy salesperson. As a matter of fact, don't even be a salesperson, really. Don't be a salesperson. Instead, in your mind, be a presenter. Be a presenter. Present what your product and service does and have them say, I want what the heck that person has. I want that. And when they want what you have to offer, the product sold, not you. You just presented it. So have smooth forward transitions. Sorry, I'm just busy. Not a problem. Totally understand. I know how it feels to be busy. By the way, and move forward. So create curiosity. Always agree with them. Create curiosity. If they know everything too quick, you lost. Human behaviors, and by the way, human behavior studies show that we absolutely hate not knowing what we know. Hear me out. And by the way, also another study shows that nowadays that humans have less of an attention span than a goldfish. True stat. We have less of an attention span than a goldfish. That does not mean that we're stupid, less smart than a goldfish. What it does mean is we have less of an attention span than a goldfish. We're not, our attention span like literally is like a squirrel, right? I mean, and then we can't focus as much. I think it's personally due to all the technology and how things have changed, and we less interact and engage with one another. Doing door-to-door sales as true entrepreneurs that you are, congratulations, because because you're not in that demographic. You're getting out there. You're not sleeping on a couch doing absolutely nothing with your life. So they hate not knowing what they want to know. So how do we create that curiosity? What do? We create it. And I talk about that all the time, over and over again. They thought you were a typical salesperson, but now they are second guessing because you created that curiosity. Hey, you're the owner of the property, standing strong. Also on top of it, when you're standing strong, you're standing back. Stand far away from the door. Stand as far away from the door as you possibly can and look busy. Don't answer right away. Knock, knock, knock. They open the door. What's the first thing that an average salesperson to below average salesperson does? Hey, how's it going? My name is Paul Shakuri, and I'm actually here with Door-to-Door Mastery. And what I'm doing is they start talking. What are you supposed to do? Stand far back. Do this one thing I'm teaching you right now, and you're going to say, Paul is a freaking god at door-to-door sales, okay? At door-to-door sales. Make sure you understand what I said. You're going to try and implement, just do this one thing. I'm talking even as far back as halfway in their yard. And when they answer the door, the second thing you're going to do, wait for them to answer, to ask you, yes, can I help you? Don't ever, they open the door and they're quiet and they expect you to talk. Don't ever just speak right away. Wait for them. Look down, look at your notepad, pretend you're writing on something. Can I help you? Yeah. When they answer, don't just jump in. Yeah. 1 second. Quick question for you. Now, okay, you're going to create curiosity. Why? Because what happens is, typical salesperson rambles. Boom, you had their interest before because they don't know who you are, but you confirmed you're a salesperson. Boom, you're done. Then you say who you are, who you're with. Again, this is a whole training session of its own. But ask the question, be assertive, talk very slow, stay calm, but be assertive. Ask the customer questions. Make sure you're engaging and locking with them to ask them as many questions as you can. And then do a powerful presentation. See, this is what hooks the customers to buy. The other stuff gets you to build up to your presentation, but what gets them to ultimately take the decision on buying is the hooks that you're going to implement when you're talking to them. When you do a powerful presentation and you start looking into their eyes and saying, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, remember, you don't talk about, you talk more along the lines of what the product does, so that the actual features, and then show them how they can benefit. By the way, this actual keypad, for example, or if you're doing pest control or so on, this type of panel, when placed on your roof, what it does is the sun actually hits this. And by the way, what this means is it'll generate and it'll do this into your house. And when it does this into your house, you actually get that. And just so I know, to make sure, can you see yourself benefiting from this happening inside your house? Like, of course, I mean, if money was not an issue, I'm just saying, because I'm general, I want to find out if, this is something that ultimately you can see inside your house it benefiting. And then at that point, you make the decision on when you want to do business with whoever. But I'm here to educate you really on that process. In the back of your mind, that's what you want to focus on. You're here to educate them on what your product and service can do for them. Shift that focus, shift that mindset. Focus on their hot buttons. Wow, you mean to tell me that I can generate enough electricity to be able to do da-da-da-da-da? Absolutely, but is it clean energy or is it dirty energy? Let me ask you that question. It's actually clean energy because it's this and that and that and this, and you go in, okay? I talk and teach a lot about that. Remember, when their hot buttons are met, so they're like, wow, or you ask them a question like, can you see yourself benefiting from having something like that? And they're like, to be quite honest, yeah, we can, because we typically leave the front door open and the air condition starts. Now you know a hot button. Touch upon that hot button, okay? Hit upon it. Keep going. Build that relationship. They're going to like and trust you if you have something that's definitely beneficial to that potential customer. Now, how do you improve customer engagement? You have to be assertive. You have to. You have to not sound too friendly to start. Assertive is like this. This is the difference between being assertive and not. Okay, so not being assertive is, hi, how's it going? My name is Paul. Are you the owner of the property here? Okay, did you know that we were actually able to, didn't you hear how my voice is kind of weak and da-da-da-da-da? Assertive is, hey, you the owner of the property here? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I have a quick question for you, actually. Now, and you talk more like this. Oh, and if they say, yeah, I'm just not interested, don't want it. Not being assertive is, oh, but you get all nervous and you start, oh, but just hold on a second. Did you know if you were to, that's not assertive. Assertive? Yeah, we're not interested, man, in whatever you're selling. Oh, okay. No, that's awesome. I don't blame you, to be quite honest. Remember, agree with them. And the majority of people aren't, because they definitely don't see a need for having to definitely spray their yard for pests. But most importantly as well, if we're doing security, a lot of people definitely don't have the money to purchase one of these units, or even to put solar on the roof. I don't blame you. But I'm doing things a couple different. Now, just a quick question for you. Okay, assertive. You hear my tone? You sound like you're that of someone with authority. Okay, you don't say you are, but you sound like someone with authority. Don't sound too friendly to start. Now, once you break them down, you start talking about your products and services, they start engaging with you. They start saying, oh, so wait a second, how many panels would I need on my roof? Or what type of spray would you do? Now you can start being, by the way, I love your watch, man. Or, hey, look at that property. Is that your car, BMW? Wow, how efficient is it on gas? Then you can start becoming friendly. Oh my gosh, cute kids. How old is she? Oh, cool. I have an actual 3-year-old. Here, let me show you a picture really quick. What's her name? Oh, hey, sweetheart. Okay. And then you start building that friendly gesture with the customer eventually over time. So if you're talking and they're not listening to you, there is no point. Okay. You're not going to engage if they're going to be just talking and talking and talking. You're going to be talking and they're not listening to you. You have to understand the way to find out if they're listening to you is to ask a question. Because if you ask a question, they start responding, then you have that built, okay? You actually have that built, that relationship where they're going to be starting to respond back. Dogs are barking, stay quiet, wait for them. Dogs are barking, stay quiet. Wait for them to do something about it. So normally dogs barking and people start still pitching. Hey, I'm sorry about it. That's okay. What I'm doing is da 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 da. You don't want to be that person. Dogs barking, stay quiet. Can I help you? Yeah, and talk low, by the way. By the way, sorry, it's really hard for me to communicate just with the dog. If that's okay, if you don't mind, if you can just put your dogs inside, it'll take like a quick second. Oh yeah, sorry, 1 second. I promise you, they do that 90% of the time. They put their dogs in. Yeah, what can I do for you? Oh, that's a great question. I'm actually, and then you get into your pitch, okay? Wait for them to do something about it. No point talking over loud dogs barking, cats running all over the place, kids screaming. Just have them calm down. Have them calm this situation down. Because what happens is you're like, they're not focused, they're not listening. And when they're not focused, they're not listening, it's not making sense. No eye contact is made. What you're saying to them doesn't even make sense. Calm the situation down. And when you stand assertive, when you talk assertive, and when you look with clarity to that customer, what exactly you're doing, and you speak with clarity, it starts to make sense. You reassure with them by saying, so if you had this product inside your property, let me ask you this. So how would it work? And they're able to bring back to you what it is they do, what it is your products and services are doing. Now, this is something that's very important. I want to train you on. Belief, potential, result. So important. Do you believe with 100% certainty that you're going to go out and get a sale every single day? Chances are, if you're on this and with the poll, by the way, thank you so much. 90+% of you submitted that poll and told me what you guys are struggling with. And I constructed this webinar to meet exactly what you guys are struggling with. But the belief, the 100% certainty, if I were to have 100% certainty that no matter what, if I were to go out there today and I were to actually knock on doors that I would get a sale. So if I had 100% certainty, my belief that this, even doing door-to-door sales, is something that no matter what, 100% I can become successful at. If you knew, and I'm repeating myself for a reason, with 100% certainty that you could master this and get a sale at least a minimum of one a day, and every door you got rejected on meant nothing. It just meant that you're that much closer to getting a sale because you're 100% certain, yes, and even that you're going to get a deal. Well, what do you think is going to happen to how much of your true potential you're going to put into the doors? See, the majority of people's belief system, and ask yourself this question right now. If today is a day you're going out and knocking, okay, and by the way, I killed myself going out on Sundays too. I wanted to make so much money my first year. But if, let's just say today, you wanted to get out there and go out and knock on doors, how certain are you with 100% belief that you would go out there and you would close a deal today? If you're like, I don't know, because based on the past, I haven't really got a deal, okay, you're not going to be using and maximizing your true potential. The truth is, you need to have 100% certainty. You need to talk to yourself, lie to yourself, communicate to yourself, deliver the message to yourself, whatever you got to do to get yourself to 100% certainty that you're going out today, no matter what, you're going to get a deal, and carry that throughout the day. Okay, you need to understand that this is what it's going to take to get consistent with a minimum one sale a day, and to learn this stuff so much quicker. And all it is the mental mind shift. Once you start shifting your belief and you start being in control of that belief, because right now you're not. If you're not closing a minimum of 1 sale a day, or if you want to be now at 5 sales a day, you have to start off by believing it. Because when you believe it, you put more of your true potential. And when you put more of your true potential of how much effort you put, more doors you talk to, less breaks, less, struggling, beating yourself up mentally, the more potential you put, what do you think happens to your result? You ultimately get a sale. Think about this. If you in life, for example, put very little potential into something, so you want to learn how to be a carpenter, but you go in once a year to actually learn, how good do you think you're going to become after your first year? You do it once a month for a year. You're not going to be as good as if you did it every single day. Talk about 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day. You're going to be better the more you do it. And then the more you actually do it, but you believe with 100% certainty you're going to, the more potential you put. The more potential you put into anything. I'm talking even a relationship, folks. A relationship, if you put your all into your relationship, you put your all into your business. I train and coach and teach business owners as well how to freaking dominate the market in where they're at, to get as many sales reps as they possibly can that are ultimately driving and delivering the message that they want to bring to the customer, which is what you have to offer, why they should do business with you, and literally get them to go. You start seeing results. The problem happens is you start off with either a 5, a 4, a 6 out of a 10 belief that I don't know if I'm going to get a deal. So you're not giving your true potential. And guess what happens? You start knocking on your first 5 to 6 to 10 doors. And what happens to your belief intra-hour, which means in that hour, what happens to your belief on whether or not you can do this? It goes down even more because you haven't gotten a sale yet. So when it goes down even more, when your belief is less, you start using less of your potential. When you use less of your potential, what in God's earth happens to the result that you get? You get less of a result. Now, what if we were to do the opposite? I were to shift your mindset and say, with 100% certainty, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a deal, and every single door with 100% certainty, this is my door that I'm going to get a sale. How much of my true potential, when somebody tells me not interested, am I going to use on this door? God, I love what I do. How much of this energy am I going to use? You're not interested, no problem. I don't blame you. Why would you? I'm going to use my all at every single door. What happens if you use your all on every single door and you've learned exactly what it takes? Number one, you get results. When you get results, how much more do you believe that you can do it over and over again? How many times have you gotten a sale at one door and close another deal that same day, that same hour, that same next house? How many times has that happened? My friends, it's because of this. Once you start seeing results, your belief goes up. And when your belief goes up, I'm telling you, what happens is the amount of potential you use, that your subconscious mind uses at every single door, you start seeing more and more results. I need an awakening from you. And when you get that, this is where you make ultimate change. So the action plan is to take control. How to stand, how to dress, watch your tone, talk with confidence, react to objections, building value, closing the sale, being confident to ask for it, telling them that they're going to be basically out here tomorrow, your techs, your installers, your whatever it is they do. Reassure the client, ask for referrals, get them excited, get yourself excited, and do it over and over again. Increase customer engagement by having an action plan. You need to have an action plan. And when you do, my friends, the secret to mastering door-to-door sales all comes back to one main thing that I need to tell you, okay? It comes back to really understanding that you guys and gals, okay? You guys and gals that actually want to master the art of door-to-door sales, you really need to understand that it's all about excitement and understanding what it's going to take to actually get yourself closing more and more sales each and every single day. Okay, how do you do that? How do you do that? So, number one, what you got to do is this. When you have a game, you have a set plan, okay? When you actually have the special secret to mastering door-to-door sales is you have to have a plan. You got to know what you got to do. You have to have high expectations. Your goals need to be set literally to the roof. You need to be able to not settle for anything but first place. And when you don't settle for first place, which the majority of you already are on here because you're looking for answers to be consistent selling, you want to start selling, you want to engage more so you can move forward, and you're sick and tired of coming home without any sales and just going back to your wife, going back to your kids, knowing you worked all day and you're not getting ahead. I know how it feels. I was sleeping on an air mattress with my wife, coming home to no accounts consistently until I freaking figured it out. I found out I had to be assertive, and I had to keep myself motivated to hit my goals. Set my goal for 200, 300, 500 accounts in a year, whatever it was. And no matter what, if I were to literally come home without having to breathe in order to actually make sure that I got my sales, if I didn't get my sales, I would not be able to breathe. That's what ultimately taught me all of what I know. You have to learn how to handle the rejections. You have to control your emotions because they're killing you. Your emotions are literally killing you at the doors. And by the way, everything from A to Z, I teach. I teach about this stuff over and over and over again. Control your emotions. Don't be fear. Don't be fearful of doing the job, because I thought I was going to be a person that if I knocked on doors, I would never be able to master this art. Never in a million years would I be able to master this art. But I did, because of the sole purpose of I wanted to be successful at it, because I had a purpose. I had a reason. I knew what it would ultimately mean to me when I pushed through. And as such, I did. And I pushed through. So I actually made it super easy for everybody to master each and every step. And just so you know, here is your answer. Folks, I put together, and if you can already tell by the energy, the excitement, the level of enthusiasm that I have, and also on top of it, if you can tell that I'm the coach for you. See, I typically have my corporate clients who I charge anywhere close to about $1,700 per head, that I typically charge them to do one-on-one trainings with inside their classes, inside their offices. Plus they have to pay for hotel, plus they have to pay for stay and whatnot. But I go over everything that they need to literally master door-to-door sales, and I do it in a 3-day training class. So for the first time, what I'm doing right now is I have a 3-day sales workshop to where I'm going to go over everything you need to do, give you downloadable worksheets. I'm talking your pre-opener, your mindset, motivating the heck out of you. I'm talking your opener pitch, going back and forth, your features and benefits, explaining, learning how to really bring out your features, how to, first of all, know your features, what they are, what the difference is between features, benefits, taking those benefits, bringing it out into the spotlight for your customers, so your customers can ultimately be like, really? Why wouldn't I get that? Let me go ahead and take what you have to offer. Learn how to handle objections, what the objections are that you typically get as a door knocker. And objections and rejections kill and stop people from getting consistent. So how to properly present. See, everything I talk about, I try to get in as much detail as possible. As you know, I'm holding myself back because I don't have much time in this one presentation. I put it all together in a 3-day sales workshop, which, by the way, introducing to you for the first time, you will now be able to access me for this 3-day workshop. And I'll tell you, at a fraction of the cost for an early bird special, which I'll talk about. Minimizing cancellations. I'm going to make sure you absolutely minimize your cancellations. Okay. I actually was the cancellation king when I got started. I found out it was a couple of things reassuring and doing that corrected me to ultimately getting very little to no, absolutely no cancellations. There's a reason why you're getting it. Start getting referrals, start building leads, which, by the way, I have an internet marketer at our team too, which I'll talk about too on that webinar, that you can actually start getting leads and generating leads as a door-to-door salesperson. And it's unfreaking real that for my corporate clients that I set this up and the results they're getting. But motivation, as you know, I hope I brought that to you, that I'm that go-to guy for that. Goal setting, which is so important that majority of people overlook. But my goal is to get you consistent, coming home with sales, accounts in your hand every single day. So I have this 3-day workshop, and this 3-day workshop is my door-to-door mastery workshop. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to dominate door knocking. People say, what is included in it? What do I get? It's everything you need to learn from A to Z. There's way too much information to just put directly over here on this page, but it's everything you need to learn from A to Z to close more sales at the doors. Now, I charge, this is $1,700 per head. $1,700 per head to train my corporate clients, sales reps, for a 3-day that I actually do training session, to get them from ultimately, you know, going from one consistent sale every single other day, or even maybe one sale a week, to ultimately getting them to dominate door knocking and be consistent with 1 to 3 to 5 to, hey, as many sales as they can possibly get. I go over your opener, mindset, motivation. Now, today, I'm here to tell you that at a fraction of the cost, you're going to save $1,197 today on an early bird over 70% off special that I have to offer you. Now on the sidebar, I actually put a link to the offer. It's going to take you over to the webpage where you can actually check out and check out on this. It's $497 is what it's going to cost you, and that includes the full 3-day workshop, everything you need to learn to close more sales at the doors. This is me actually getting into the complete details even more of every small little nick and cranny that I need to teach you in order to stop getting frustrated, stop coming home without sales, ultimately take your business, take your life. I'm going to even talk about growth, how I built over 350 door knocking salespeople from the ground up at a local company. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, how I recruited, everything from A to Z. Okay. The process works. And I train on a consistent week-to-week basis with my corporate clients, and they're seeing results. The question to you lies, what are you going to do? Are you going to figure it out on your own? Or are you going to learn from somebody who's already set the path and cut your time down in literally 1/18 the time you can actually learn this? I'm here to tell you that if you're going to go out there and you're going to knock and knock and knock, you'll eventually learn it. But why would you waste the literally many years that it took you to actually to get to that process when you can literally shadow somebody who's already done it in the past? Okay, I want to thank you so much for your time, folks. I love what I do. I train and teach, and I do this full time. And I want you to understand something, that I'm very passionate about people who want to dominate the market of door-to-door mastery, mastering door-to-door sales ethically. I don't want people literally to think that they're going to go out there, they're going to learn tips and tricks on how to trick people into getting security systems, into home pest control, solar, selling insurance. Look, my program, I teach you door-to-door sales. I don't care if you sell real estate, whatever you do. I have now over 10,000 people that I consistently have on a day-to-day basis that I'm communicating with all across the world. And my goal from all this is to literally take people who want to learn, want to succeed, are willing to put the time and the effort in, and train them and make sure that they end up getting the success that they want. I want to thank everybody for showing up, and more importantly, this is question time. So if you have any questions, please in the chat box, if you just want to post your questions, and I'm going to be answering any questions that anybody may have. Thank you so much, everybody. This is Sunday, and just so you know, the mass majority of people probably went out and partied yesterday. If that was you, that's freaking awesome. Congratulations, but you woke up and you're still here. Okay, what it's going to take to succeed is you ultimately really pushing through. And I'm going through that right now, just so you know, with day trading, stocks and whatnot. So, I mean, it's not the most important thing, but I really want to make sure that you guys learn from somebody who already has known it. So, okay, Sebastian, I spent 2 minutes at the doors and moved to a potential customer. If we're selling every door, this wouldn't even be fun. We would be order takers. Bonnie, sorry. That's awesome. You replied to, I'm assuming, what Sebastian said. David saying, and these are single moms that couldn't make me. Questions. Anybody have any questions, please feel free to, in the chat box on the side, to actually post that. And by the way, you should see the offer to check out. It'll say, take me there, live 3-day workshop on the side. You go over there and you'll be able to check out. So make sure you register for that. That's going to be upcoming this weekend. We're going to be live. It's going to be directly a webinar that I'm going to be training everything from A to Z with the same level of excitement, but I'm going 3 days with you. So this is going to be super exciting. And you're going to, at the end of that, you're going to get all the tools and resources that you need to ultimately deliver the message to your customers and stop getting rejected and start overcoming all that and moving forward. I come from networking. I come from network. So Bonnie says, I come from network IT background. They can do this and they are single. Hey, Paul. Okay, here's Brandon. Hey, Paul, how do you go from selling one product over 5 years and change your sales tactics with a new product and company? Brandon, very good question. So first of all, if you've sold something for 5 years and you've done it door to door, you've learned the process, okay? You've learned the process of how to sell. What you need to do is you need to study the new products, features, and learn how a customer can benefit from that. So if I did pest control, for example, and I were doing pest control, let's just say I was selling based on, the three main bugs that, and I've never sold pest control, but I'm very passionate about pest control sales because I have pest control in my house. I have, always believe in that. Don't want my kids getting bit by scorpions and whatnot. But so let's just say, I know all of what the features are with pest control. It's, we spray, it's organic, it's, upon contact, it instantly kills the bugs, yada, yada, yada. And I know this, and I know how to present it to the customer. If I switch products, everything is the exact same, except let's just say I switch to solar now. I need to learn every single thing in God's created earth that solar can do for a customer. I need to study how they can benefit from it. And then on top of it, what I need to do is I need to be able to present that. So you need to learn that process, which by the way is in my training program, my 3-day training program. I get into that, how to basically bring your features to life and touch on the hot spots of your new product. So it's all the same except your features and benefits. That's the main thing you want to do. Please email me so they can hear it from the woman. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys are crazy. Door knocking addicts. I love it. I'm a freaking door knocking addict myself. What tips have you given to extremely negative people to improve their results? Negativity is my #1 issue. Chris. Very good question. And yes, you're right. The majority of people are very negative when they're doing door-to-door sales. And it goes back to part of in the slide that I talked about how you feel. Okay, when you feel like crap, think about this. When you feel like crap, it goes back into, we need to ultimately, and by the way, this is one of my specialties in life. I love human behavior. I love going into why we feel the way we do, why we do what we do. And we need to start bettering us internally. So if you are ultimately happy in your day-to-day routine, aside from door knocking, that will ultimately bring it back. So couple things you could change is #1, your diet. Really, your diet. So I did a juicing cleanse for 30 days, and this sounds crazy. If you haven't watched it on Netflix, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, watch it. I was actually, just so you know, one of my corporate clients flew me out, kept me in a hotel for 3 days doing this training program locally at their office. And I was actually in a hotel and I ate out. I was eating steaks and a meeting with different people and all the crap that you do at dinner. And even though it was really expensive dinners, it was still like I was feeling like crap because I'm used to homemade foods and organic. I eat literally 99% organic. But I started feeling like crap. So I felt fat, sick, and nearly dead. So I really watched on Netflix. I saw that as I was in my hotel room. I'm like, I need to watch this. I watched it, and he was talking about how he felt. And I'm like, dude, I feel the exact same way. And then he was talking about how you can juice all vegetables and whatnot and drink it for 30 days. I did that. It ultimately changed the way I felt. And when it changed the way I felt, it was just one little thing that got me now to get back into the gym. And this was about 6 months ago. And it got me back into the gym. I even went vegan for a long period of time. And it ultimately was one little thing that I lacked that changed. And it was unreal that once you start digging in your mind. So there are certain things I'm going to talk about in that webinar too, because it's about mindset. It's about not only just doing better in door-to-door sales, but how to be happy as a person because ultimately when you feel great and you feel happy, you're doing door-to-door sales, your sales increase. There's a direct reflection there. So I'm going to teach you how to get rid of that negativity. And what I do in my workshop, just so you know, is I typically have empowering emotions, things that make you feel great. I get people to write it down on one piece of paper. And then on the other side, one that actually makes them feel like absolutely crap. What you'll notice is you're focusing more on the ones that feel like crap, and that becomes real to you and live to you. And what happens is it's unreal when we switch it around. So I get into all that as well in my workshop. So it's all about that. So Paul, what criteria, Dwayne says, Paul, what criteria did you use when choosing, sorry, as you guys talk to, it's kind of going here. I think there should have been a question stuff. As you see, I'm a door knocker. I'm not this online guy. I have a team and I'm okay. So Dwayne says, so if I miss some questions, I'm going to try to scroll up and down. But Dwayne says, Paul, what criteria did you use when choosing neighborhoods to knock on? Very good question, Dwayne. Dwayne, I drive around and I would literally get out. There's 2 different criteria. Well, it depends if I'm knocking with a van full of 15 people or am I knocking by myself. I really, when I'm knocking by myself, I go on feeling. And this is crazy because anywhere I go, I can sell. So I drive around and I go based on feeling, on how I like the look of the house, stupid stuff that doesn't make sense. What does it do? It makes me feel good. I drive around. I like the look of this area. I like the look of this house. I want to be walking, knocking on doors. There's lots of homes close to each other. And I pick it and I make sure that that's going to be my neighborhood for literally the next 5 hours. Okay. I focus on just that. There's no magical turf. Now, I don't like going into the most, and it depends on what you sell, but the most high end of neighborhoods, because I notice people are a little bit different there. I can definitely do it, but it was not something that I want to do. I like the mid to average to even lower class that I like getting into. But I drive around, I look at the neighborhood. Do I like it? Does it look presenting to me? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with that. That's how basically I look at. After handling objections, do you re-engage? Oh, you can do question. Nice. And that shows that. Thanks, Bonnie. You're a star. Okay. After handling objections, do you re-engage with a customer or jump back into the next obvious point in the sales process? Is asking a question at this point just inviting another objection? Sorry, it keeps going down. But after handling objections, okay, do you re-engage with a customer or jump back into the next obvious point? So if I'm talking to a customer and they give me an objection, do I re-engage with them? I always agree with them. You know what? My wife wouldn't be interested in this. So the first thing I do is I actually just say, you know, I don't blame you. Absolutely. You know, your wife wouldn't want something like this for many different reasons. But do you know exactly why? So I reply with a question. Do you know exactly why your wife wouldn't want something like this? Yeah, because she said they, and then she comes up with the reason as to why. So he gives you a reason. Your goal is to dig deep, folks. As door-to-door salespeople, you need to dig deep. Bonnie, dig deep into the reason. People will not give you the main reason why they're telling you no unless you dig. How do you dig? You ask questions. Just like you're doing right now. You're asking questions because you want to literally get the answer. So to get the answer to what's going on, which is, you know, my wife doesn't want to do business with you, that's why I don't want to do it. Well, find out why. So perhaps you could present the solution to them as to why that's the case. So I agree. I dig, and then once I get the answer, I actually present the solution, and as I present the solution, I move forward, and that's in a step process. So you're in home security, by the way, Dwayne. Congratulations, brother. Home security, home automation, that's a phenomenal product and service. You know, in home security, home automation, a lot of my corporate clients who hire me, they basically definitely are still doing, you know, 3 to 5 accounts, the top people a day. So no matter where they're at, I have, again, thousands of people, so don't worry about that. My audio cut out. Jeff says, not sure if you already addressed my question. How is this different from your door-to-door mastery program? If you already answered it, no problem. So my door-to-door mastery program, Jeff, is actually a program where you log into, and it's videos that I train and teach exactly how to master, you know, the door-to-door sales from A to Z. This workshop is completely different. Did you just not ask me a question? You did. So in this workshop, you're getting my one-on-one undivided attention to where you're going to be able to ask me a question at any point. Hey, Paul, 1 second. You know, because here's the thing. People watch the videos. It's great, and you can learn off it. And obviously, it's helped thousands of people. And now I'm proud to say thousands of people who are door-to-door mastery members, but they actually get it. And they're like, I still have questions about, you know, 12 seconds in, or sorry, 5 minutes and 12 seconds. You're talking about this. You need to ask a question to me, right? So I'm going to be talking more and more detail, by the way, which a lot more stuff, because I've been doing a lot of these personal trainings with corporate clients. So now I know a lot of the small little things also on top of it that I want to bring to you guys. But you ask a question and I'm able to, on top of it, respond to you exactly to what you need. See, there's no excuse. If you're going to take this 3-day workshop that I'm going to be presenting and actually giving to you, there is no reason after it, learning from A to Z, especially with a teacher like myself, who I personally seen results with a lot of people, there's no reason why you shouldn't be increasing your actual sales, engaging more with your customers, but you not implementing the teachings or asking enough questions. I promise you, because it's over and over again. It's just small little things that you need to tweak. For some people, it's bigger things, but you definitely have to. Great film, iPad, Gerd, David, I will. I'm in broadband and energy industries. What is your opinion on opening a survey before transitioning to a sales pitch? Keep in mind, there's no right or wrong way to do it, Fida. There really is no wrong or right way to do the actual approach. The best way you're going to want to do it is to ask, and I sell based on question-based selling. So my opinion on an actual survey, people don't like surveys because they typically are like, oh my God, I'm going to sit here and answer questions. It just, when you're talking to a potential customer and you have a survey, hey, I'm here to take a survey, nobody wants to waste their time. Remember, it goes back into they don't want to be bothered. If I were to do a survey with you, is that bothering me? Absolutely. You're sucking my time. You're leeching my time. What do I get? A gift card for $10? You can't pay much for that. So I would personally not do it. Try it out. See how it's working for you. It doesn't hurt to try it out. But my opinion, surveys, they don't work. It just, people look bad and down upon surveys. It's like, great, what do I get? A gift card? Brandon, thank you, Paul. I appreciate the advice and the tools for the sales that you've discussed. Enjoy your weekend. Hey, thank you, brother. And same to you, my man. Enjoy your weekend. Please, God, be safe and have the safe rest of your weekend. How do I come over that I'm not the best anymore? And use my competition spirit, my competitive spirit, instead of letting it get to me, affect my sales negativity. Yeah, well, the reason why you're getting this, it goes back to the belief system, right? How many accounts have you generated? Are you consistent? Okay, you, Sophia, just like everybody else who's struggling, unfortunately, is going through the same thing. Your belief system is shot because you need an awakening of actually shifting and changing things up to get your belief back to 100%. No matter what, you're going to definitely get an account today. No matter what, over a year, your belief can be in an intraday, intra-week, intra-year, or even in the job itself. You need to start going back to all the reasons why you chose to do door-to-door sales. What was your reasoning behind it? And then ultimately, when you know your reasoning as to why it is, start believing that 100% certainty, I'm going out, I'm getting a deal today. I'm that lioness that's going to go out there and I'm going to, no matter what, get fed. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get my account. And when you actually have that mindset of you're going to go out there and get your account, you start pushing, use more of your potential, and then you get your result. So once you actually end up having that result, then it starts being easier and easier and you're less and less negative. So long as you stick to your goals, because then that's the next step. You go, okay, my goal is to get 5 this week, 10 this week, whatever your goal is. You have to understand why you want those goals. So, because ultimately, if I were to hit these 10 accounts, this would mean that I would have an extra $3,000 in my account, which would put me out of my debt, or, knock my debt down by this, and I can do that. Me, I'm debt free. Grateful to say it, proud, and that's probably another reason why when I first started off, which I had a little bit of debt, I crushed it. It literally just eliminates that feeling. So Pete says, I sell cable and the majority of people I visit have subscribed in the past. The majority of the reasons that they have switched comes down to price. I try to show them that the value of our product, but it ultimately still comes down to price. How do I overcome that objection? Okay, Pete. Price and value. These are two direct correlations to why people ultimately decide to purchase from you or not. Now, in cable, things could be very close. What you need to distinguish and identify is how you're different than that of your competitor. If you guys offer the exact same thing and you're more expensive, I'm sorry to tell you, personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable and confident selling that. I sell ethically and I teach and train ethical sales. Now, if you, and I'm not saying you're not ethical or you're not, but there are certain things like when the weather's terrible, that if you're watching your hockey game, your football game, that it won't cut out. There are certain things that that you're different than your competitors. And when you actually bring that up to a customer with life and the way I train and teach you, you bring it up, and then that becomes a hot button. They're like, oh, wow. So with you guys, you mean to tell me that you have 300 extra HD channels? Okay. Now this person's engaged with that. They go, wow. So, okay, let me see that. So what all extra do I get? Boom. That's about your presentation. Now that powerful presentation needs to come to life. You need to show them how they can benefit from their hot button features that they love about what you have to offer. And then the price, ultimately, at the end of the day, believe me, 9.9 times out of 10. Why does somebody buy a Mercedes, a Bentley over an actual Dodge? Why would somebody do that? Not because the price is so much higher, not because it's just random that the actual car is just a Mercedes. It's because of quality. Price is not always your issue. You need to learn how to handle that. All taught again in that training. So thank you so much for that. So David says, thank you, everyone. Have the best weekend. Not a question, but your suggestion of tracking is paramount to success, and I don't think I heard it today. You're right, Bonnie. Tracking. I go over all that in my training. I have a limited amount of time, and you guys and gals have told me exactly how much time in that survey. I'm passionate about this with all my heart, all my soul. See, people typically will just pitch and talk to you and try to teach you enough just to get the job done. I know that there's a lot more details that you need, like these small little nits, and it's impossible for me to go over it in a 1-hour seminar. But, I have to actually do it in my 3-day training course, which I do, and that's what it's all about. And obviously, I need serious people, dedicated. And as such, just so you know, for those of you who reached out to me and said, Paul, the one-on-one, actual live Skype, I'm booked like solid. What is it now? I got to check with my secretary, but I think it's now close to like 4.5 months. You couldn't book me. So even if you were to literally say, Paul, here's cash, I don't have the time. So that's why we decided to put this workshop together, because I know there's still thousands of you guys struggling and you really want to master this whole art of door-to-door sales. But this is the best way to actually get out and to make it worthwhile for everybody. So, hi, Paul. Cheers from France. God bless you, brother. I'm going to be visiting there. I definitely want to. My wife's all into the French, Montreal, and then also in France. Any advice of pre-opener to sell cakes? About $45 a piece. Sorry, on this webinar, I can't give you guys, I can't get into specifics about cakes or different types of stuff that you're selling. I just have to get into the generals. It'll take way too much time. There's lots of questions. But you know, your pre-opener is actually not about your pitch. When you're pitching and talking to somebody, just so you know, that is your opener. Pre-opener is what you do before you even knock on that door. All the way from getting up, psyching yourself up, getting yourself excited. You know, that's exactly what your pre-opener is all about, okay? But then actually going out there, it doesn't matter if you're selling a cake for 45 bucks. What you need to do is you need to understand what ultimately, first of all, who your potential avatar is. So who your ideal perfect customer is, okay? And let's just say it's a female. The majority of your people are female between the age of 18 and 32. They don't have to own their own house. It doesn't matter if they're renting. Typically, they could be, you know, in a high-rise building. They could be, and you can go, you know, door to door doing that. That is a phenomenal product, selling cakes, just so you know, you have, and it's something that you can collect a ton of sales. Just learn how to do it right. And a lot of you need to understand, if you're going to invest into my program to actually do a live 3-day workshop with me, think about the return. This is investing. Like when you think about the return that you're going to go in, you're going to learn, and ultimately you believe I'm the teacher for you that's going to help you. Obviously, I'm going to dig deep and not let any question not get unanswered. Stop coming home without getting sales and learn these things. How many cakes you got to sell to just break even? And after that, you have the skills and the tool set to actually continue to push forward so that you can ultimately go and do, you know, 100 of these and 500 of these in a year, however many you want to do. Norbert, you sell door to door. You guys are talking to each other. That's awesome. Also, I just jumped to questions, I guess. So I sell cable. The leads I get from former customers that switched to other cable operators, the reason they switched always comes down to price. I try and show the value of what they're getting. Ultimately, it is most always coming down to price. How do I overcome the price issue? So John, we briefly talked about the price issue. And just so you know, people who switch for price, is the reason why they switched for price is because the salesperson did not build up enough value. Think about it. The salesperson did not build up enough value. For the mass majority, I'm teaching you how to close 10 accounts in a day, okay? For the mass majority of people, when it comes down to price that they made their decision, it's literally because, yeah, price is an issue. Sometimes people will definitely purchase based on price, but who cares? That's the minimum. When you look at people who purchase, and I'm stupid like that too, you know, $300 pair of jeans, right? True Religion jeans. Did we buy it because it's so much better quality? Or did we buy it, and by the way, did I buy it because it's less expensive? No, it's more expensive, okay? There's a set audience out there. Price is not mainly the issue. Now, once you start believing that price is the issue, you need an awakening. Everyone, trust me. When you start focusing on price, you start pitching as such. And when you start pitching as such, that's what ultimately affects the way you pitch and talk and communicate, because all they see is price, dollar signs, and money. Focus on value, just like this presentation. I'm focused on delivering the most best value that I can ultimately give, okay? And then when you guys and gals can actually see that I'm giving you ultimately as much of my all as I possibly can, what's the result? A lot of you are going to take me up on the program. You're going to jump in, because what is it going to mean to you? It's going to ultimately mean stop getting, you know, rejected at the door, stop coming home without sales, being more consistent, learning everything you need to learn from A to Z. So you need to focus not on price, but get more alone on you know, what your products and services can do. How do you deal with, Clint says, how do you deal with those that need to talk to their wife? Oh, one-leggers, I love this question. With their wife and husband, or need to think about it. I sell home security, home automation. Clint, when I started off the webinar, I remember I basically stated that a lot of people, what they do is they tell you not interested, don't want it, or, you know, they play the good cop, bad cop to get out. But the number one thing, the reason why they do that is they're scared to make the wrong decision. So a lot of times, and I found out this in the past is, and by the way, this is all covered in the training program too in detail, so I can only give the general right now, not enough time. But the reason why they're telling you this is because they're scared to make the wrong decision. decision. Two, they did not get, you did not create enough interest. It's an excuse that they're telling you just to get rid of you. And it comes back to, it's not the truth that they wanted to just not do business with you. It comes back to ultimately you haven't built up enough value, because ultimately if you built up enough value with that person, you built up enough value to where they're like, dude, I absolutely want this. And I know, as a matter of fact, my spouse, when they come home, they're going to be like, freaking 100%, you did the best thing, because I can show her why we actually need this. That's when you're going to start getting the sale. So you need to learn why they're telling it to you. And there's a million different reasons. But I always say, you know your wife, you know your husband better than I do. Now, let me ask you this. If your husband, your wife were to actually come back and to ultimately, see that I gave you a phenomenal deal and the system did this, this, and this, do you think she'd be upset that you got this? So it goes into a lot I have to get into, but just so you know the general feeling, trust me when I say this, it's something you're doing wrong. I've learned how to sell probably about 80% of one-leggers. I found out why they're telling me this. It's because of the few things that I already told you and how to overcome it. So, do you feel that there are some people who actually aren't cut out for this kind of job? Yes, Chris, 100% I do. Anybody can do door-to-door sales, but not everybody is willing to do what it takes to learn it. So the truthful answer is yes. I do feel that there are some people who are not actually cut out for the job, but the answer to kind of answer that as well, they could be cut out for the job if they flipped the switch inside their mind from letting themselves believe that they're not cut out for the job. So long as you have, and I'm not saying you as in you, Chris, I'm saying a person with that mindset. So long as you have that fixed belief, like I'm trying this out, I'm testing it, you're not 100%, remember, belief. You're not with 100% certainty that you're going to, no matter what it takes, learn this. Keep in mind, what you, Steve, Jack, John, Brenda, Tom, Bonnie need to learn, what everybody different needs to learn about on how to actually master this, everybody's on a different level. Everybody needs to learn different. Some people need better communication skills. Some people need more excitement. Some people need to learn the steps, the process. Whatever it is you need to learn, you just need to figure out that, hey, 100%, I'm going to flick the switch and say, hey, if somebody else can actually master this, I can too. And all I'm going to do is make sure that I figure out the answer so that I can actually accomplish the same thing. So that's how it basically works out to. It's all a mindset. And once you flick that mindset, because I promise you, I believed as well as hundreds of others that I trained and switched that around, that yes, you can be cut out for it, but it starts with your mindset. And that's where I dig deep into the brain. I love it. It's like my second nature, finding out and identifying why people do what they do. So you don't sell, so Bonnie, you don't sell door to door, you sell to the decision maker. You guys are talking amongst each other. I love the engagement. Big thanks, Paul. God bless you all. Norbert, thank you so much. Chris, home automation. Bonnie, Joshua, selling security. Did I miss any questions? Let me scroll back over here. Once you respond to objection question, yeah, I got through all that. Cool. So everyone from all over the world, thank you so much for locking and engaging. And I know a lot of people messaged me that, unfortunately they couldn't make it to this time. But Drew, you asked another question. I look forward to you guys watching as well, the replay. But Drew asks, how do you deal with no solicitations? Okay, very good. You mean no smoking sign? Sorry, I thought it was no smoking. No. So here's a truthful answer to this. Now, when I started knocking on doors, I was trained to knock on every single door regardless, okay? If it said no soliciting and I had a permit, of course, make sure you always are legally allowed to be knocking in the neighborhood you're knocking. But I was actually able to be there. And I knock on the door and somebody had a no soliciting sign. I noticed one main thing. I would get a lot of these sales. I felt uncomfortable at the door at first. And when I felt uncomfortable, I was pitching different. So at first I wasn't getting these sales. But when I noticed that there was a lot of other people in my office that were saying, dude, I knock on those all the time. And I asked why, they said, because people who put no soliciting signs put that up for a reason, because they buy from everybody and they're sick of wanting to, really, there's a lot of people who put no soliciting signs and they just don't want to buy from another salesperson because they're just wasting so much money buying whatever that person has to offer. I've sold hundreds of people a year based on no soliciting signs that basically had that. And I asked them, like, why did you do business? And by the way, you had a no soliciting sign. I buy from people too easily, so I put that to try and reject. Okay, so very important. How about no trespassing or no entrance to neighborhood? I don't do them. Dwayne, I love what I do. When I go out there, I have fun doing it. You don't try to be, and I'm not saying you are, please. I'm saying just in general, everybody. This is a lesson. Don't try to go out there and be a pest and try to squeal and deal and get by and not. Don't do that. Just go to somewhere where you're allowed to be. You don't have to go to no trespassing. No, people are just going to be upset and it's going to be awkward and no point. Don't do it on everything. Just go and find. So me personally, I don't do it. I've done it in the past when I first got started, and I just got a bad result of people just being sour. They don't want me there. Hey, if it's not there, no trespassing. They don't want it. See you later. Goodbye. Move forward. I look forward to serving each and every one of you guys in this 3-day workshop. It's been a crazy journey, and through this door-to-door mastery whole show, and where we're growing, to be honored and blessed to be literally with over 10,000 people now. It's just unreal where it grew, and it all came back from trusting my instinct. And folks, I remember knocking on my first door. And when I knocked on my first door, I was like, I don't know what this is going to become of, but I know that eventually it's going to make me and take my family to where I want to become. I'm honored and grateful at the same time to be able to offer this to you guys, to where now we can train and literally get you guys the same lifestyle, if not even a better, all the best, to actually start closing more sales at the doors, because you started door-to-door sales for a reason. Okay, close the deals, jump in, grab my 3-day program. Don't just wait and hope that you're just gonna randomly, figure it out. And if you're gonna do that, all the best. But really think about it. Even if you just threw it on a credit card and you had the trust with 100% certainty that it was going to obviously pay back times 10 within your first month anyways, you'd pay it off. So it's up to you to decide right now at this point. One thing I learned in life is I take action very quick. A lot of my friends, it takes them forever, but I take action very quick. And as such, I'm so much more ahead than a lot of my friends. If you believe that I'm the coach for you and you really want to learn how to master door-to-door sales, grab my program, my 3-day online workshop, and get closing more sales. I'll see you guys next week. 3 days during prime time, I'd be fired. I'll get you on the next one, Paul. I know it's worth every penny. All good, Bonnie. No worries. And just so you know, Bonnie, for you, I will be also for everybody. If you do get the actual, you jump on the 3-day workshop, it's going to be recorded, and I'm going to be putting it in the Mastery members area for you specifically. So you will actually have access to it. Not everybody will have access to it if you didn't buy it, but you would actually have access to the recording of it. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. And I look forward to serving each and every one of you on my 3-day workshop, which you can now snag up for literally over 70% of a discount. Oh, and it is a 3-day workshop, just so you know. But one thing I wanted to bring to you is there's a limited amount of time that you can actually jump in on this early bird special. 100% on that page, it'll actually take you to the countdown timer. When that timer runs out, it's going to be the full amount. You are going to have to pay the $16.94 to join. Forgot to bring that up, but 100%, if you do not join within the early bird special, that is just a one-time type of thing that you get before the timer runs out. If you do not join with 100% certainty, I don't care if you message me after, this is about taking action. And you say, Paul, please, I'll join if you give me that. I'm going to say no, I won't be able to do it. It's all about time. Take action, and I'll see you guys. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. You freaking rock, Bonnie. Thank you. Bye-bye.